Welcome back to another episode of Revealing Biblical Truths. In this video, we will continue to reveal what I believe is the greatest deception put on mankind, the globe. So without further ado, let's begin. Number 101. Craters on the moon should not be caused by meteors. The crater-like formations are all perpendicular to Earth with no dust trails, which should be in all directions and depth if they were formed by meteors. These craters are more consistent with electromagnetic discharge or even water droplets from, say, the flood. We do not know how they were formed, but meteors can be ruled out. Number 102. In the north, there are all kinds of life and temperatures, vegetation, and the temperatures, while cold, are not prohibitive to life. But in the south, around the Antarctic ice wall, it is virtually void of all life and much colder than in the north. But if the Earth were a globe, both poles would see similar climates. Number 103. Sunsets work due to perspective, not the rotation of Earth, which has never been proven. In this picture, you can see on the left, as the coin is moved further away on a flat table, the sunset works the same way. The things in the sky get smaller and point down, while the ground comes up to meet it at the horizon line. This does not include hills, smoke, smog, and other particulates in the air, in addition to our eyes only being able to resolve a certain angular size of 1 minute or 1/60th of a degree. 104. Because of the inverse square law of light, we shouldn't even be able to see the sun or moon if they were that far away, because they're too distant. Number 105. Flight paths, especially the ones around the southern hemisphere, make more sense on a flat Earth model, as shown here. 106. Anomalies in globe images such as the one here with Russian Electra 1 satellite has a Photoshop hand tool in it. Or this one that's completely missing South America. 107. The analemma, which only works on a flat Earth model. If the Earth were a globe, both halves would be equally proportioned because the paths cross at the equator. On the azimuthal equidistant projection, or the flat Earth map, the southern hemisphere or outer hemiplane is much larger than the northern or inner one. So as the sun travels further on its circuit as well, it sweeps faster in order to sweep more ground in the same time. And at each end, where the sun meets the Tropic of Cancer or the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun spirals back in or out as it goes around in circuit above us, like a finely tuned clock. Number 108. In this picture from the Apollo missions, we see the lunar lander supposedly landing on the surface of the moon, yet the horizon is less than 100 feet away. This is impossible if the moon is only a quarter size of Earth. The horizon should be way farther out. Number 109. In this picture, we see the Earth in a box pasted on the image of the moon, or from the moon, using some kind of editing software. 110. In this scene from The Shining, we see Danny standing up wearing the Apollo 11 sweatshirt and walking into room 237, symbolizing that Stanley Kubrick filmed the fake moon landings. The 237 represents the moon supposedly being 237,000 miles away. 111. In this picture, we can see Neil Armstrong's astronaut suit in a museum, and the boots don't match up to the footprint on the moon, supposedly made by his own boot. Number 112. Even Carl Sagan says if you accept the truth of the Bible, then the Earth is flat. 113. In this image, we can see NASA copying and pasting clouds onto the globe image. 114. In this negative from the moon landing, you can see studio lights. 115. It's easy to fool people with fake images. Here are two proving that someone made a tabletop and a ball in a desert. Number 116. Liquid magma loses its magnetic properties, proving that the Earth, if it has a core, is not liquid. But we've only dug down 8 miles, so nobody really knows. 117. Kids are inundated with globes as soon as they're born, as well as the solar system. They're in mobiles in their cribs. They're in every classroom, in every commercial, movies, news media. If the Earth was really a globe, why need to drill it into our heads every day? 118. It is a common misconception that boats going over the horizon proves curvature. This is simply not true, and is the result of convergence in atmospheric conditions like haze, mist, and particulates. When viewing boats with a high-powered zoom camera or telescope, the full ship comes back into view. Number 119, the analemma, which is the sun's path over the course of a year, makes more sense than a flat Earth model. Number 120, many international organizations, such as the International Maritime Organization, the United Nations, and the World Health Organization, all use the AE map, aka the Flat Earth map, as their logo. Also note that Antarctica is not in there, but it's replaced by the wheat there. Number 121. Here's a picture of Stanley Kubrick meeting with NASA officials in 1965. Why would he be doing that? Number 122. According to the Book of Enoch, chapter 72, verse 37, the sun and the moon are the same size. They have the same angular size in the sky. NASA will tell you the sun is 400 times larger and 400 times further away. Right. 123. Here are pictures of the sun in the clouds. Obviously, it's not 93 million miles away. 124. Martin Luther was a flat earther, according to his own words. Read it. 125. In sign language, the symbol for Earth is a flat plane with a dome over it. Are you waking up? 126. Google Earth's lead developer, Thomas Wilkinson, has actually come out in support of Flat Earth. He says, after years of diligent study and intent work, I have concluded that there's no way the world can be spherical. Given how our data at Google has never matched up to NASA's data, and given how modern technology simply cannot measure the magnitude of such a planet, we can never really be guaranteed the Earth is spherical. The truth is, this idea is so ingrained in our culture that nobody questions it. Well, I'm questioning it. We should all question it. 127. This document obtained from the CIA states that they don't even know the shape of the Earth. Number 128. In this document from the U.S. military, they quote, "We assume a flat Earth," meaning they take flat Earth to be true. 129. According to Jude 1:13 and 1 Enoch 18:15, the planets are wandering stars, imprisoned for not keeping their paths. 130. According to Isaiah 3:18, the moon is in the shape of a tire, round and thin. The Hebrew word for moon, Saharon, is Strong's number 7720. 131. The Universal logo in 1927 was a globe, decades before the supposed first image of Earth from space. How is that possible? 132. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins all have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame because they're actors. 133. Here is an unedited pic of Mars. They edit these at Building 7 in Johnson Space Center. 134. Last year, there was a supposed leak in the ISS. Chris Hadfield, one of the astronauts, tweeted out this pic of the hole, but it's really just a copy of the 90s band's album cover. Caught in another lie. How many does it take to tell you not to trust them? I mean, really. Number 135. Pythagoras, Galileo, Copernicus, Kepler, and Newton all belonged to cult mystery schools, which had its root in Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Heliocentrism is a religious system based on sun worship, not science. 136. Even Verizon will tell you that there's no wireless communications except from your device to the antenna. No satellites. 137. Here's a book by John Edward Quinlan in 1914 talking about the Earth being a plane. You can read it. 138. Sprites and bombs appear to show the firmament. 139. Here are two more pictures from a CIA document talking about the firmament and trying to determine its optical properties. 140. Here's a picture of the sun over the flat horizon. Notice that there's a hot spot underneath it, proving that it's small and localized. 141. This is how easy it is to fake space. Green screens. Number 142. Here's a fake pic of Mars from NASA versus a real pic of Mars taken with a Nikon P900. Number 143. Early maps such as the one here by Mercator show lands at the North Pole and a mountain, yet on today's maps it's just water. What happened to all that land? They're hiding it. 144. One of the best proofs is the actual video of the moon landing hoax filmed by Stanley Kubrick. This video was released by WikiLeaks. Here are the screenshots of the video, which can actually be found online. 145. Here are some books you can read. Zetetic Astronomy by Samuel Robotham, Zetetic Cosmology by Thomas Winship, Terra Firma by David Scott, and Kings Dethroned by Gerard Hickson. 146. If there's no air on the moon, what did the lunar lander push against to decelerate? 147. In this clip, you can see a man in the background going across the ISS, and he is hooked to a wire on his back. The second part of this is the astronaut supposedly grabbing a baseball cap. But the augmented reality messed up, and you can actually see he's just grabbing air. They put layers on layers. 148. The Big Bang Theory was created by a Jesuit priest. The Jesuits are behind a lot of deception and secret societies. 149. The Bible calls stars angels. And the fifth messenger sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven which had fallen to the earth, and the key to the pit of the deep was given to him. The 7 stars are 7 messengers of the 7 assemblies, and the 7 lampstands which you saw are the 7 assemblies. 150. There are a bunch of other government documents talking about flat Earth. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. Are you waking up finally? Next time on Revealing Biblical Truths, we will continue to reveal more evidence and go into the big question, why the cover-up? Also, later I'll be doing a commentary on the Book of Enoch as it relates to flat Earth cosmology in a future episode. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Shalom.